Hi everyone, Dave here, Fit and Healthy Forever. I was reading a study recently from the American Heart Association. Now, I've always thought they were quite legit, but I've found out some things that worried me a little bit, shall we say. Regarding coconut oil, I'm sure a lot of people out there have used it or still use it. It's an excellent source of what they call MCT oils. MCTs are medium chain triglycerides, which is a saturated fat, but because it's got less molecules, it doesn't go through the same digestive system as a normal saturated fat, i.e. butter or lard or things like that. So it bypasses the normal digestive system and goes straight to where it's needed most. So it basically doesn't ever get stored as fat. It's used as almost 100% as energy. So what the American Heart Association was saying is, they put out, or they did a study saying that you need to avoid all saturated fats, including coconut oil, and instead you need to consume unsaturated fat in the form of corn oil and soy oil, which are genetically modified, and they're absolute garbage to put into your body. So they're saying that coconut oil raises the LDL, which is the so-called bad cholesterol. Basically, there's no good and bad cholesterol in a nutshell. They do good and bad, or LDL and HDL do two different roles in the body. The LDL, they carry proteins and they take them to an area that's needed for repair, and the other one brings them back. So that's all they are. Now, the LDL is normally sent to an area. If you've for over a long period of time been eating an inflammatory diet, and you've got inflamed arteries and whatever, which causes them to get sort of nicks in them, or little splits in the artery, the walls of the artery, plaque is sent by the body there, cholesterol, to patch it up. It's like a band-aid. It patches it up from the inside. Now, if this keeps happening and you keep on using an inflammatory diet, it'll keep patching over it, and that's where the arteries get blocked. It's actually saving your life, because you would bleed internally if the LDL cholesterol wasn't sent there to patch it up. So basically, LDL cholesterol, which is supposedly the bad one, is saving your life. That's how it works. The other one brings it back for recycling. The HDL, the so-called good one, brings it, once it's used what it needs to patch up, it brings it back to be recycled again in the liver. Now, if you watch the previous one I did on cholesterol, it explains all this. What the American Heart Association failed to tell you is that coconut oil increases the HDL, which is the so-called good cholesterol. They haven't told you that in the study. So basically, they've cherry-picked the info. There's a study called the Re-Evaluation of the Traditional Diet Heart Hypothesis, and it's by the Minnesota Coronary Experiment, which said that if you replace saturated fats with unsaturated fats from corn oil and soya oil, it increases the risk of coronary heart disease and death from all causes. So they've ignored that as well. So they're cherry picking information, and I'll tell you why in a second. The American Heart Association is acting on behalf of other companies that sell drugs, medication, or certain foods. Now, I'll call them the AHA, American Heart Association, to save keep repeating. So the AHA make their money on what's called the Heart Check program, which gives you a stamp of approval on different products. You pay a yearly subscription to renew it, and say that it tells you then that what you want it to say, that it's heart healthy. So if you've got a food that you want to put out there that's heart healthy, if you're paying this subscription, they will do that for you. There's 900 foods on the market that are paying this organisation, not to mention the sponsors, which are Quaker Oats, drug companies and other food manufacturers. Now, there's nothing wrong with Quaker Oats, but you have to remember, as I've said before, all carbohydrates, whatever source they come from, are broken down into sugars in the body, or glucose. If you overeat them, those sugars that can't be stored in the muscle, the liver, or the cells get stored as fat. That's just fact. They get stored as fat. So if you're overeating carbohydrates of any type, whether it be fruit, potatoes, rice, cereals, anything like that, what you do not use, or what your body can't store in the cells, muscles and liver, and will get just stored as fat. That's fact. So these 900 foods on the market are all paying this organisation and also drug companies and other manufacturers. So they're still recommending that you get 60% of your daily calories from carbs. And they're saying cut out saturated fats and you're going to be healthy. To be honest, that's just a joke. To take 60%, if you're on a 2,000 calorie diet, which people say is the norm, the average for man or woman, so 60% of that is 1,200 calories. So that's over half your calories from carbs. Now, bearing in mind, unless you are super active, what's left when they've been stored in the muscle and the cells and the liver is going to be stored as fat. This is why the society is obese. It's carbohydrates that are doing the damage. They do have a place in your diet, but people are over consuming them. If you look at breakfast, lunch and dinner, you're probably having a good portion of carbs with every meal. Now, unless you're using those up, they're going to be stored as fat. And that's just the way your body works. So, what these holistic doctors are saying now is, actually, if you take the recommendations of the American Heart Association, flip them on the head and do the exact opposite, you'd probably be more healthy. So instead of, if you look at the old food pyramid, taking up to 19 servings of some sort of carbohydrate a day, they say 6 to 11 from grains and potatoes and things, 3 to 5 from veg, and 2 to 4 from fruit. They're all carbohydrates. So if you take the maximum of each one of those, that's 19 servings a day. For one, how do you get 19 servings of carbohydrates a day, every day? Anybody? Because it's so difficult to fit in. And anything that's not used will be stored as fat. And this is why we're obese, and this is why society is so sick. We are a sick society. The hospitals are full, the doctors are full, the pharmaceutical companies are laughing because they're dishing out drugs and medications and surgeries, and they're loving it because that's where they're making their money. They don't want you to take your health into your own hands. And I witnessed this firsthand recently. I had to go and see the nurse at the local doctors because I wanted a yearly blood test, which I have every year. And they don't want to give it me anymore because I haven't got a problem. What she said is, it costs money for us to give you these blood tests. Come back and see us when you've got a problem. And I said, well, I'm trying to prevent problems. Why are you trying to prevent problems? Come back and see us when you've got a problem. Now, is that arsehole up or not? To me. But this is what I was told. So, back to what we're talking about. They actually omitted to say that the Sydney Heart Study and the Women's Heart Initiative who are saying that consuming saturated fats does not cause coronary heart disease. They've omitted that completely from the study. So they're cherry picking their information. As I said earlier, coconut oil is an MCT which bypasses the normal digestive process and gets sent to the area most needed for use, for energy. So it doesn't get stored as anything, it gets used as energy straight away. That's the way it works. You need saturated fats in your diet to a degree. You need them daily for things they aid in hormone production, they support the immune system, they support heart health, brain and nerve health. So you need them. Just a note on that, saturated fat should come from healthy sources, i.e. organic beef or other meats, butter, MCT oils, avocados, coconut oil, etc. Don't take them from rubbish foods, McDonald's and lard and stuff like that. You do need a certain amount, but they need to come from relatively healthy sources. Just a couple of side notes here. Your brain is 75% water and it's the fattest organ in your body, consisting of a minimum of 60% fat. So why would we go on low-fat diets? It doesn't make any sense. If your brain is at least it says 60%, you can Google this and find out for yourself. Your brain is at least 60% fat, and we are being told to go on a low-fat diet. We've been told since 1984, I think, they were rolling out low-fat diets, and what's happened since then? Mark my words, the nation's got fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter, and we're not seeing the light. We're just not seeing the light. Anybody who speaks against low-fat diets is a quack or doesn't know what they're talking about. Studies are coming out left, right and centre on ketogenic diets, intermittent fasting, where you limit carbohydrates to a bare minimum. And they're saying they're quacks. But the studies are proving them right. There's no proof to say that if you go on a low-fat diet, it does you any good. There is no studies out there. Because what they're doing is things like this. They're cherry-picking information and just giving you the bits that suits them, instead of giving you the whole facts. Last thing, the brain needs a high level of cholesterol. The brain represents 2% of your body weight, but actually has about 20% of your body's cholesterol. So again, although it's only 2% of your actual body weight, it's 20% of the body's cholesterol is in the brain. Now, why would your body, and the other thing is your body makes 3 grams of cholesterol a day. Why would your body make that? Why would your brain be 20% of cholesterol if it was bad for you? Doesn't make any sense. Again, Google this. You can find it for yourself. It took me 2 minutes to Google this and find out. And there's loads and loads and loads of studies telling you, and we're being brainwashed by doctors and nurses and people like these American Heart Association. I used to have emails off for things that I wanted to do in aid of my videos. I've blocked them completely now because they're talking absolute garbage. There's no substance in what they're saying. They're just scaremongering to back up profits, basically, is what it's all about. It's about money and profits. So they're on this heart health list where they're basically paying someone to tell them what they want to hear. So it's a little bit of a rant in a way, but again, I just want people to know the facts. If you want to go, as I've said before, if you want to go out there and find these studies and tell me I'm wrong, by all means do it. That's fine, and I'll look at it. But I cross-reference these with different doctors and the studies that have been found, and it takes a lot of time sometimes. But to me, it's worth it for my knowledge. And I put the videos out because I hope if only 1 or 2 people out there find it interesting enough that they're going to look more and change things in the diets and change things in the lifestyle and get healthier and fitter and live longer, healthier lives. That's all I want from people. I want them to feel what it's like to live a healthy lifestyle and stop this culture of junk food and binge drinking and smoking and using recreational drugs and lack of exercise. And it's a slippery slope. It really is. It took me a long time to see, but you need to take a long look at what you're doing. So as always, thanks for taking the time to listen. I do appreciate it very much. Stay fit and healthy forever. Like, subscribe, and tell people you think might be interested. I've had a spurt in views just lately, and I don't know where it's come from, but hopefully somebody's spreading the word with me or for me, and 1 or 2 people are looking into it. Particularly the intermittent fasting is going really well. That video, the views on that's going up and up week by week. So I know people who've tried it. I haven't had 1 person come back to me yet and say that it doesn't work, or they can't stick it, or they can't fit it in. It's the easiest thing you'll ever do, and it's so healthy and beneficial. Please try it. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next video. Stay fit and healthy forever.